So let's talk about kind of how we started this and why we're doing this.
Okay.
You want to tell that story or should I?
I'll let you start and I'll jump in.
So we were cruising up to Brighton. Me and Braden actually met each other through a men's group called We Are the They. Your uncle?
Yeah.
Your uncle, Jimmy Rex, he runs it. And so, yeah, we just met in the group and kind of hit it off about snowboarding. Both pretty heavy snowboarders. You get what, 30, 40, 50, 60 days a year, something like that?
30 to 60, yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit. And then I got into snowboarding a few years ago. So that was kind of a big thing where we were just like, dude, we're both into snowboarding. Like, let's go shred.
Have a good time.
So we started going up, started shredding. And I remember one of the days we were going up to Woodward, right?
Yeah, that's where we're headed.
We're headed to Woodward. And I was like talking to you about work.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, you were like, yeah, you know, like it's just not quite scratching the itch.
Yep.
Is that kind of
That's exactly correct.
accurate?
It's not quite stoked with it is the best way to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And I always really enjoyed our conversations, the car rides, the lift rides. And I was like, dude, you should start a podcast. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, actually that sounds like a pretty good idea. Wasn't it, you were doing breath work, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Tell us about the breath work. So what happened there? Like what was,
No. It wasn't the breath work. It was the, what's it called?
Happi?
Happi? I think it was Happi.
Okay.
Yeah. It was actually the first weekend with Watt down in Moab. And we were doing all the kind of getting to know you and kind of breaking through barriers and stuff and kind of breaking down who you are a little bit. And we had gone into just this very reverent space where I actually can't even remember her name, but we were doing the Happi ceremony. And when she was doing that, she kind of said something to everybody that's kind of personal to them. And something she said to me is, you know, your voice deserves to be heard or needs to be heard. And I was like, and that's something I've struggled with, is just kind of speaking up and being confident with my words. And so being able to hear that and be like, hold on, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And that's exactly how I felt. But I just haven't known how to go about letting my voice be heard. And so that kind of put me on the path of having conversations.
Yeah, dude. And here we are. I remember you shared that with me and I was like, dude, this has got to happen. And, you know, I'm the type of person where I'm like, when I feel like something's got to happen, I just freaking go for it, you know? So we texted Nick, who runs the We Are the They podcast. He's got his own podcast. We're like, all right, Nick, get us all the gear. We're ready to go. Literally put my credit card in the group chat and was like, order everything today. Come get it set up at my house. So when I get back from Japan, we can just film our first podcast and we can just start cranking these out.
Just hit the ground running.
And stoked you were down, bro. I'm stoked we're here and we got this all set up. Shout out to Nick for helping us get this done. Definitely would not have even known what to get or how to set it up or how anything works because I'm not very tech savvy, to be completely honest with you. But here we are, and I'm stoked that your voice is going to be heard. I'm stoked to have lots of conversations with you and honestly get to know you on a deeper level. Like it kind of says a lot about you that you're willing to send it on such a venture with me, and I'm a bit of a wild child, and you're just like, let's do it, bro. I guess we're gonna start a pod. So
yeah, it kind of feels not necessarily meant to be, but you're very much a go-getter, do what you want to do and get what you want to get kind of thing and kind of person. And that's actually something I respect from you, is just your ability to be like, let's go do this. It needs to happen and it deserves to happen. So let's go do it. And you kind of had that energy when we were talking about it. And the more you like fed into it, I was like, it sounds like a really great idea and something I really want to be a part of. And so I'm really excited for it.
Dude, I'm stoked. It's an honor and a privilege. I'm stoked to have somebody to do this with, who can help keep me accountable, help get the guests out here, kind of help keep it organized. I got, you know, my roofing company. Shout out Happi Roofing for sponsoring this whole podcast. Our only sponsor, but we are starting strong with the sponsor. Shout out Happi Roofing. But yeah, you know, I've got my company, and you know that keeps me pretty busy. But I think between the two of us, that we'll be able to tag team this thing and keep our schedule full and get it to our goal, at least my goal, which is to film 100 episodes. That's kind of my singular goal with this. Is get good friends in here, get people I want to talk to, be able to sit them down, have an extended conversation and document that so I can go back and revisit those conversations and see, different people grow, see myself grow, see you grow. And I'm really looking forward to this, man. It's going to be quite the adventure.
It really is. I'm excited for what's to come.
Cool. Well, without further ado, we have our first guest today, which is going to be my little brother, Ethan. He is 22 years old. He's been a project manager with me at Happi Roofing for 2 years now. And he is one of the best dudes I've ever met. He is ride or die, the definition of it. He's an absolute savage. He actually was my number one rep last year, and he rewarded himself with a 2022 BMW M3 competition. Not too many 22-year-olds run around with one of those. So he's quite the character. He's quite the man, and looking forward to talking to him. So without further ado, come on in, Ethan. Just kidding. He's downstairs. I got to go get him real quick. And here he is, the big man himself. Bro, I'm so grateful that you're down to do this. I'm stoked to have a conversation with you, man.
So that's my camera?
They're both your camra. You can, actually, no, sorry.
That's my camera.
Just that one's your camera. That's your camera. Right. So that if you want to make eye contact, that's where you go. We'll maybe get like another 3-4 cameras in here eventually, but you gotta start out with a budget. Aerial shot. Yeah, we'll have FPV drones, everything.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it'll get there.
Start a little action.
Let's go ahead and keep that mic up a little closer to your face.
I'm already getting yelled at about the mic.
I've just always wanted to say that. So I just
scoot up to the mic.
Gotta say it from the beginning.
Dude,
I already feel like I'm gonna be messing that up. But
bro, I've kind of given you an intro.
What'd you say about me? Good things?
I said you're a stud. Said you're top rep last year. You rewarded yourself with BMW M3. Said you're one of the most solid dudes. Said you're my little brother. Said you're 22 years old.
All of those are true things. Yeah.
I wanted to first start out with kind of getting your perspective on what it was like growing up. What are some of the early memories that you remember of us as kids?
Earliest memories I have?
Yeah. Do you got any old stories in the archives in there?
I mean, I don't have any of way back when, to be honest. My memory's pretty shot. I must have been.
Why is your memory so shot?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what I was getting into from 1 to 6, but it's not a good time for memory as far as me. But
why? What was going on 1 to 6?
Getting dropped.
Not even our stories. Just
I think it must have been jumping on my head too much or something because something was going on.
I remember you doing a lot of flips at a really young age. I think you started backflipping on the trampoline at like 3.
Yeah.
3 or 4, something like that.
Right.
So maybe that kind of had something to do with it. Maybe you jarred yourself.
I wasn't the best at actually landing on the trampoline, which I think is probably the issue.
No, I remember you hit your face or something.
Yeah, a couple of times. But
okay, we'll go back to where you can remember.
I think the times that I can remember would be after the transition from Texas to Oregon. I think those are times that I'd actually be able to recall on.
Yeah, so
as far as me and you, sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I am the guest.
Go ahead. You're the guest.
As far as me and you, honestly, anything you can think of that a freaking 7-year-old and a 12 or whatever 13-year-old could do wrong and get in trouble doing, we were up to it. That's for sure.
Just a group of menaces, are you?
Yeah, group of menaces, known by many, hated by many, loved by many. It was kind of a
everyone had
mixed emotion. Yeah, you definitely had feelings towards us, regardless of if they were good or bad. I would go from like our next door neighbor would love us, and then the next house over would absolutely despise us and call the cops if we got in within 100 feet of their kids. So,
well, I'll tell you what I remember. I remember being kind of mean to you, to be completely honest with you. You were kind of the test dummy for a lot of things. One story that kind of came to mind is I remember getting my first airsoft gun, and I was showing you how it worked, and I was like, "Oh, it's all out of bullets." And you're like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, see?" And I cocked it, and then I shot you point blank in the chest.
Yeah, I remember that.
With no shirt on.
And the thing about Dallas, too, it was whenever shit starts going down, it's like you have one solid hit on him. You can inflict pain on him for sure, but you instantly have to get out of there. It's just, that's it, you know? It's just a straight up, it's a Pearl Harbor move. You know, you can strike once, you can try to get out of there, but, you know, he'll get you back, you know?
I appreciate that.
I don't know if that's a good thing either. I can recall of several times where I was pushed to my limit and I would take it maybe a little bit too far with you and actually get you. And there was game over. It doesn't matter. Like you would think you'd get away with it too. It'd be a freaking 2 weeks later and you have a freaking scorpion laying on your chest out of nowhere. And you're like, what the fuck?
Might not have started it, but he definitely ended it.
Exactly.
That reminds me of my relationship with Alyssa, our oldest sister, who's 6 years older than me. Ethan's 6 years younger than me. That was how it was for me with Alyssa. She was always passing down the beatings onto me, and there was no forgetting if you got one up on her and you got her in trouble or something. It was coming back to get you eventually, for sure.
But I think the earliest memories that I can think of would probably be one. I was thinking back because I feel like nowadays kids cannot wander like how we were able to wander as children.
Oh, we were free roaming feral children.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if that used to be normal. Like, was that how it was for you? Were you able to just like, you were a 10-year-old and you're just 20 miles down the road and your parents have no clue?
No one had a way to talk to us when we were little like that. So you really could go wherever you wanted as long as you were back by sundown or whatever it was.
That's true.
It was a standard. Now all the kids have phones though. So it's like, hey, where's my kid at? I mean, my dad texts me twice a week. Hey, what are you doing? You're at home right now or something. I'm like, tracking me like that.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point.
I feel like it would go the other way though, wouldn't it? Like, yeah, now you can know where your kid is. You should give them a little bit more space to
now they know where you are, so now they're more worried when they know you're somewhere you shouldn't be.
I feel like that's not how my brain would work. Like, okay, perfect. I don't know where my kid is. Probably fine.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens when you have kids. I feel like you're going to be a pretty loose dad.
Probably.
You're probably going to pass that down and kind of let your kids do whatever.
I think that's the move. I think if you're trying to raise a kid, the best formula for raising a kid is don't. It works every time. Them. Yeah.
I mean, you might not be too far off from the truth there. But all right, let's shift gears a little bit here. So we talked about kind of when you were younger. So you were born in California, then we moved to Texas, right? And then we moved to Oregon, and that's kind of where mom and dad got divorced, right? And then you were bouncing around. You only lived with mom, right? You never lived with dad?
Yeah, I only lived with mom. The only time I was with dad, obviously, would be like weekends or a summer. I would be there for a summer or something like that. But
right, okay. And then got a little older after high school. What was the move from there?
After high school, there really wasn't a move, so I just kind of had to go with the flow of it, right? So I mean, because I kind of screwed myself straight out of high school because right before I was about to graduate, I got myself in a world of trouble, got arrested, got a ton of fines and legal fees that I stacked up.
How did that happen? What'd you do?
It was just kind of a snowball, honestly. It was just growing up in a small town, nothing to do. You finally find stuff to do, and then it just escalates from there, you know? You mess around one day, and then it gets a little bit crazier. And the next thing you know, you're stealing semi-trucks, driving them down the road, and you end up crashing them, and
classic,
you know, throws you in the slammer. And so brutal. Because of that stuff, there was no plan. You know, I was not a kid who was going to college. I can tell you that right away. It was like, that wasn't an option. Don't have any money in my name. I don't really have skills or anything like that. You know, I wasn't raised a laborer or anything necessarily. And so my sister's husband at the time, or I guess your sister's husband at the time too, but he owns a solar company out in California, and they said they'd give me a job. And so sold off all of my stuff, sold my dirt bike, sold my truck, scrounged together enough money to make it out there with, I think, maybe $200 to my name, and just started working away.
Nice. How long did you do that for?
I was probably out there for, I don't know, a year and a half. And I will say, one of the funnest jobs that I ever did work.
Why is that?
All I was doing was driving. Like, there was no work to be doing. It was strictly show up at 8, pick up some papers, and drive 8 hours to go drop them off somewhere else. And when you're doing that. I mean, company car, you just sit and listen to music, chill. See a cool spot on the way, stop, hang out for maybe a couple hours on the company clock.
There you go.
Know? I would find my 8 hours, every single day. I was a hustler back then, man. And it wasn't an aggressive hustle, but I was hustling, If you gave me a 4-hour work week, I would turn it into a 40 every single time. I figured it out.
That takes talent. Is that what you do now, or?
Unfortunately, I don't get paid by the hour anymore, so you cannot apply that strategy.
Yeah, you got outmaneuvered there.
Yeah. But I will say that is an expert strategy for hourly pay if you do not plan on doing it long term.
That's true.
So plan on doing it long term.
You did that for what, a year?
Mm-hmm.
And then what? What'd you do after that? Or why'd you leave?
Well, so
if you liked it so much.
They were selling the company, right? And to be honest, my in with the company was them. And like I said, I would turn a little bit of work into a lot of work. I wasn't really taking it serious.
New owners didn't want to deal with that, huh?
Yeah, I was right in the fact that my family owned the company. To be honest with you, it wasn't my passion. I didn't have a passion for delivering permits to city halls or whatever.
Yeah.
And so once they left, they sold the company. I was like, okay, well, I'm about to get canned. Might as well dip out too.
Yeah.
And so I left with them. Moved back to Utah. And two, I guess the real reason I stopped is because I had broken my arm again. All right, so I transitioned towards the end of that. I think they did realize that I was just kind of fucking around all day long and like I wasn't actually doing anything.
Yeah.
And so they made me start doing electrical work.
So the gig was up. They caught you a little bit.
Yeah. The gig was up. So I had to start doing real work, and I broke my arm, and I can't really do electrical work with a broken arm. So
that's true.
Headed back to Utah, give it another shot, and it's kind of where I ended up staying for the most part.
Nice. So you came back here, healed up at Brittany's house, right?
For the most part, yeah. I stayed there for a little bit, and then I was like, I got to start working. Only thing I know how to do now is electrical. Let's go do some electrical, And so I moved up to northern Utah, got a job with a sick company, started building a temple and whatnot.
Nice.
And I rode that for a little bit until, I don't know. And I will say, anyone out there that's working in the trades is a tough motherfucker. It's not fun work. I don't know how some people enjoy it, but some people do. But I know that 90% of the people I worked with were working to freaking get paid and get their families fed. And so it's hard work. It's not an easy thing to do if you don't really have anything pushing. I didn't have a family. I didn't have anything. I was just renting a room. I need $500 a month. I don't need to be doing this, and I don't like doing it. So let's go figure something else out. It's kind of my
that's
my
when
thought process
you
on it.
Transferred over to sales, right? You went out with the sales.
And that's when I went to sales. Yeah, moved out to California. Tried to score big. Absolutely killed it for like the first 2 weeks I was out there, and then went straight to goofing off again. Dude, I don't know what it is, but something about just. Because, you know how sales houses are, right? There's just,
of course,
you're living with 10 dudes who work for the same company as you. You're with them 24/7. You're with them at work. You're with them outside of work. And so
at the meetings, everything.
Everything you do, you're with them. And so you just become best friends with these guys, and it becomes really easy to dick off with them and just do nothing, especially when you're in Southern California.
Doing solar.
Yeah, exactly.
Solar's difficult out there.
Yeah,
sure.
The work sucks and the beach is right there. I would rather go to the beach,
Yeah. Yeah, and then you got little experience there. You got kind of burnt out there. You need to make some money, right? Mm-hmm. And that was kind of right around the time where we had more systems in place, and I was like, yo, come to Utah, come.
Yeah, and I'd tried roofing here before, and so once I got the taste of like what solar sales was like, especially in California, I was like, yeah, well, giving people free roofs in Utah is going to be a lot easier. I could do that all day.
Yeah.
So came back over here, kind of bummed around here for a little bit while we were getting the deals flowing, and then just took off, and now it's unstoppable. There's nothing we can do to slow it down now. So I'm glad the path kind of found me, I guess.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty wild. I remember like back in the early days, like I always really wanted you to come work with me. Like when I was going to blow up that car that I had. And then you were like, dude, that car's nicer than the car I have. You should trade me and blow up my car.
Hey, I got a bone to pick. You said it was a 2013.
I did not say that.
You said it was a 2013.
There's no way I
didn't
said that.
see the car, right?
I'm pretty sure it was a 2003.
It was a 2003, but I was told 2013.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure your car was a 98 or 96.
No, my car was an 02. So, I mean, it was technically yes.
It was like newer
better.
and like 100,000 less miles, and it actually ran and wasn't like beat up.
Yeah. What you said was still true, but not to the same extent.
All right, well, that must have been a verbal fumble because I was not trying to mislead you in any way, trying to make you hype it up. Like,
it was a nicer car. It was a nicer car.
it was a nicer car, and you and Brady were bringing your car out to swap me so that I could blow up your car instead. And what happened?
Once again, another classic story with Brady. So it all started off really good, first of all. Okay, the trip started amazing, but then we get, what can I say on this?
You can say everything.
Everything?
You can say everything.
Okay. Yes, trip started off great, and then we were like maybe 2 hours in, and we're like, dude, we forgot the shrooms because Brady found a bag of mushrooms beforehand, right?
He found them?
He found them. They came into his life. It was a magical thing. They're mushrooms, right?
They found him.
Yeah, they found him, you know? Magic happened. He found these mushrooms, and it was a big old bag of them too. And I'm like, dude, let's just go. Like, we don't need them for this trip, you know? He's like, let's just grab them. And I was like, dude, I don't want to stop tonight. And he's like, I will drive us all the way there if we can turn around right now. I'm like, all right, dude.
Oh, so it was Brady's fault.
Let me finish the story, right? So we turn around, we go back, we grab them, and we keep on trucking on the road, right? And it's a long drive. It's 12, 13 hours, right? And so taking a 4-hour detour on top of that is ass. Okay.
An extra 4 hours sucks. You said something.
Okay. So we get to Vegas. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this thing. Let's just crash here for the night. Brady's like, nah, dude, we got this. Let's keep going. He's like, I'm just going to grab an energy drink, right? And this is 1 in the morning, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, let's just stop. Like, it's too late. Let's just stop. He's like, nah, dude, I feel fine. I just need an energy drink. I can keep going. Like, we're almost there. And we're not almost there, first of all. It's still like, 6-7 hours?
You're like halfway there.
Yeah. And I'm too tired to even argue with him. Like, I'm done. And so I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, whatever you want to do, you do it. But I think we should stop. And I just passed right out. And then the next thing I remember was I opened my eyes and the road is like not where the road is usually. You know how the road, like if you look through a car windshield, the road's in front of you?
Right.
It wasn't. Ooh. Okay. It was a little off to the side. And we're both just instantly screaming. Like, I'm screaming, Brady! He's screaming, Ethan! And we're calling ass too. We're probably going 90. And Brady fell asleep driving. And luckily, I feel like we crashed in a really good spot because there was like mountain banks on both sides of us. So we smack into one mountain bank, start sliding this way, and then roll the car. All right. It ends up on its side, right? I'm sitting like this. I'm buckled, and Brady is standing right here. I don't know how. He wasn't buckled up. He's just standing on my door. Like, his feet are at my head. And we get out, and like, I'm still half asleep. I don't even know what's going on fully yet, right? And so I'm getting out and I'm like, come on, let's fucking push this car over. We got to go. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, we can't go. I'm like, let's just try. And like, he's like, dude, what are you talking about? This car is toast. Like, it's not going anywhere. And I think I just bugged him enough to where like we did push it over.
Yeah.
Right. And then I got looking and I'm like, yeah, you're right. This thing is fucked. This thing is not moving anytime soon. And then my first instinct and Brady's first instinct too was like, we got to hide those shrooms. We got to get these things
Naturally
out of here. Right. So we take the shrooms and we had a bag of weed too. We hike it up this mountain, stash it in some rocks. And I mean, and like I said, we're right outside of Vegas. So drunk drivers are passing us like crazy and they're stopping and like just fucking haggling us like crazy. Like, oh, dude, you guys are screwed. You know, or this one drunk lady I remember, she pulled over. She's like, come on, we got to get out of here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't want you guys getting in trouble. And I'm like, dude, we're not drunk. We just like, we're just tired. You're drunk. You got to get out of here. Like, go. And so we start panicking because at the time, and keep in mind, this was still, you know, living in California, making freaking $15 an hour running permits. So I wasn't necessarily rolling in the dough. I don't think I had insurance on the car either. And so we were stressing over that too. So we're like, fuck, we got to like figure this out before someone calls the cops, you know? And so we start calling tow trucks, trying to get someone out there, getting it all sorted out before the cops come. And then this dude pulls up with a truck. We're like, hey, can you just tow us up there? Like, don't call the cops. And he's like, fuck, I already did. And so we're like, okay, well, now we're kind of screwed. And so a fire truck pulls up, an ambulance pulls up, you know, we're like, yeah, we're all good. And then we're like, you guys can just go. We already have a tow truck coming. And they're like, no, we got to wait for the cops. Oh, fuck. And so the cop gets there and instantly I'm like, I'm shaking at this point. I'm like, dude, we're so fucked. Like we just crashed this thing with no insurance. You know, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm going to get screwed over.
again.
Yeah. I'm like, I just lost my car. Now I'm going to jail. This is awesome. And so the cop gets there and really right as the cop pulls up, the tow truck pulls up or right before or something, you know, like they pulled up pretty much in unison.
Yeah.
And I pretty much just told the cop, I was like, yeah, like we're good. You know, we already gave everything to the other first responders. The tow truck's here. We're just going to have them towed out of here. And the cop was just like, all right, yeah. Like, seems like you guys are all good here. I'll just leave. You know, didn't take a report or anything. He just let us go. And so we had this tow truck just tow us to a random church parking lot. Like, it's like, we don't have any money. Let's just sleep in this freaking destroyed car. So we got probably the worst night of sleep of our entire life for the first half. And then we're like, dude, it's too cold. We got to start doing something. And so we were kind of just walking around and we found this like park at the church. And inside the church park, there was a fire pit with a pre-built fire.
Nice.
Right. And there was a perfect fire already built. Obviously, threw out the weed, still had the lighter though, luckily. And so we just freaking lit it up one time, sparked up immediately.
Wait, did you say weed? There's weed too?
Well, there wasn't anymore. But we hid the weed in the shrooms.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right. And so we just sat by that fire on some freaking park benches all night, kept us nice and warm, hung out there for the rest of the day until Brady's dad came in and rescued us. Shout out to Roy.
Yeah.
And then, Dallas wasn't too happy when he woke up in the morning and found out his car that he was going to drive off of
No, because I still had a perfectly working car, and half the idea was that I was going to drift the car around, drive it. I was going to cut the roof off and try this like speed flying stunt off a cliff, which now that I look back, you might have actually like saved me from some major injuries.
Also, the thing, if we would have traded those cars straight up, right?
Yeah.
What did you add to the deal because you didn't get that?
That's what I'm getting at. Well, because you brought me a piece of crap that did not run, and I was now trading you a car that was a lot nicer than the current broken car. Not to mention you guys painted it while you're chilling there and wrote some stuff on it that I didn't really want in the content.
That was on me.
I ended up saying, all right, well, how about this, guys? You're in the hole. I don't technically have to trade you this because you're showing up not with what you said it was going to be, right? And so I was like, what you guys need to do is you guys need to come with me to Colorado and work for 2 days. Back when I had an office in Colorado before I realized I just want to focus on Utah. I was like, you guys need to come out to my Colorado office and help me get this launched out here, help me get some momentum and come out and knock doors for Happi Roofing for a couple days. And that was your first experience working for Happi Roofing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you're right.
The ball rolling.
It all kind of all worked out.
Yeah.
I just came across that picture of me and you on a roof. I think I sent it to you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like a freaking baby in the picture.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it all came full circle.
Wow.
And we also did find our weed and mushrooms on the way back. So everything ended up being amazing.
A fairy tale ending right there.
Yeah.
Recovered. All
Yeah.
right. Full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Brand new car, brand new 2003. What was it? A freaking Camry? Brand new 2003 Camry. A full bag
Nice.
of weed and mushrooms headed to Vegas. That's how it ended.
Wild, dude. You've definitely lived a pretty wild childhood. I'd say you're definitely up there with some of the stories that I could pull out of the archives as well. But that one's definitely never rolled a car on an overnight road trip. That's for sure. And had to stash drugs and all that good stuff. So you might actually have me beat. Let's see. What else do I got for you, man? I wanted to ask you a couple things. Okay, let's shift gears over to the future, right? We've talked about the past. Talked a little bit about the present. What do you see yourself doing in 2025? What's on the agenda? What are we striving for? What are we shooting for?
To be honest, I feel like as far as 2025 goes, the map is pretty much the same as 2024, except it's been fine-tuned, you know?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Viewers don't know what the map is.
So, do they know what we do at least?
Sort of. You could explain it. I mean, this is our first episode, so,
Okay, so
they know little to nothing.
For everyone who doesn't know, me and my brother here, we sell roofs. We don't just sell roofs like how, you know, you'd call a roofer and be like, hey, I need a roof. Will you come give me a bid, right? We go door to door and find people who can't afford roofs, and we help get them paid out through insurance, right? So for a lot of people, you know, check for $20,000 to fix their house so that they can keep a roof over their home. It's kind of a big deal, right? And so we've been able to create a business surrounding that, and it's kind of just skyrocketed, to be honest. I mean, when I came out here, what was it now, 2 years ago, it was
Me, Maddie, and you.
yeah, working out of a van, you know, like
Yeah, actually, I don't even think we had the first house when you
yeah,
very
we
first
didn't
came
have a
out.
house, we didn't have anything, and there was no
Systems.
system, there was no real business other than finding customers and then putting roofs on their house, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's a lot more fine-tuned. There's an actual system that goes into it. And so it's a lot easier to scale and put fuel on the fire because you know exactly what you're doing. Everything's straight up just...
So if I was to ask you how many projects or what type of revenue do you want to push through the company this year? What are your goals there?
My goal, I wouldn't say I really have a yearly goal, but I do want to be getting to the point where midsummer, I'm doing at least a build a day for myself. Nice. So that'd be 5 builds a week. So
what's that? 5 builds a week. Average job is $16K. So $1,600 commission
times 52
times 5. You're at $8K a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I got to make those Beamer payments. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, those Beamer payments, bro. And that Beamer insurance, man, with all your freaking tickets.
And I got to fix up that truck.
Yeah, Ethan just got what'd you get? What is that thing?
89 GMC Sierra 2500.
Dude, that thing is...
I had to get something a little slower because, yeah, bright green
Get you some tickets.
M3 will get you some tickets. Yeah.
Especially one that's registered.
When you buy a nice car, nobody tells you that the car is the cheap part. The legal fees are where it gets real expensive, you know?
Yeah, no kidding, dude. I mean, frick, with the Corvette, it just reminded me I got to pay off another ticket, and that's probably going to cost me my license. But let's have Zach.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Have someone else drive you.
Well, dope, dude. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to share with the viewers?
For this year, man, yeah, I just want to keep pumping, get everything freaking growing here at the company. As far as personal stuff, I'll probably pack on some pounds, you know what I mean?
How much you weighing?
Right now?
Yeah.
190. I'm on the carnivore though. Shout out to Joe Rogan. On the carnivore diet.
Huh?
Yeah, carnivore.
So that's
like
just
week strong.
Eggs and meat?
Eggs and meat, a little bit of fruit. I guess it's not full carnivore, but you know.
Omnivore?
It's what a grizzly bear would eat.
Put on mass.
Yeah, exactly. So
Weight training heavily?
grizzly bears put on what? Freaking hundreds of pounds a year. So at this rate, if I keep doing carnivore, I should be 300-400 pounds by the end of the year.
This is all lean muscle, I assume,
true.
right?
Yeah, obviously.
Of course.
You know, I'll keep a healthy layer of fat. I'll probably, you know, nothing crazy. I'll keep my body fat percentage pretty high. Right now, I'm probably sitting at 2%. You can't tell.
Let's see.
I'm wearing a big
Get a
coat.
little flex on for the
it's
camera.
fine.
No?
You can trust
Get
me.
the belly shot at least.
Turn the cameras off. I'll show you guys after.
That's from the private viewing.
Yeah.
That's fair enough, dude. Well, dope. What about your girl, dude? Any goals there? You guys been together for a while.
Been together for a while, but I'm also young. You know,
That is true.
like the next step is marriage, and I'm not in a spot where I want to get married right now. You know,
Why not?
I don't know. As soon as I get married, I feel like
Kids?
yeah, I want to have kids, and I don't want to have kids right now. Plus, you know, I feel like it's a good thing the longer you can wait before you get married. In my opinion, you know, if you can go a couple of years.
Yeah. How long have you guys been together? A year?
Yeah, a little over a year. It was a year in January.
What's the secret to your success? You guys seem like you have a pretty fire relationship. You guys
Yeah, I
seem
feel
super
like the
close.
secret to the success is, I mean, ending things is a non-negotiable thing, you know. Once you're in a committed relationship and you're actually wanting to see if this is someone who you're going to be married to, it makes it a lot harder to end things over little stuff, you know, and it makes it a lot easier to then work through things. I feel like in past relationships, I've had that thing where it's like, oh my God, she's bothering me because of this. If she's bothering me because of this, it's not meant to be. Kick her to the curb, you know what I mean? But now it's like, okay, this is bothering me. You're my life partner. Let's talk about it so that we can work through it, you know? And so it's like every other relationship in my life, friends and family, you know, it's not like with your best friend or your sister or your mom. It's not usually something where you're like, I'm never going to talk to this person ever again. They did something that pisses me off. And so you treat it that same way. I feel like things work out.
Absolutely. You seem pretty good at relationships. What
What do you got going on?
Knowledge there.
I don't have anything special going on right now. I'm not. I'd say I'm
Still searching for that special man I see.
There's a special woman out there somewhere. We'll find
Right
her,
on.
but that's not the focus right now. You know, friendships are more important at the moment for me. Building community around me and having people I can trust on my team, as well as kind of getting myself more established and where I want to be, seems more important at first. And then once I become who I want to be and I'm doing what I want to do, I'll be able to attract the person that I want.
That is awesome.
I like that. It's fire. Well, I don't know how long we've been recording for, but I'm not very good at this yet, and I don't know what else to talk to you about.
What are you looking forward to in life? What do you want to do?
What do I want to do in life?
Yeah, just what's something you're looking forward to.
Honestly, I'm just trying to do cowboy shit, you know?
Cowboy shit?
Why don't you get a horse?
Dude, I need to get a horse, but
getting a horse,
we
you
don't
gotta
have
get
any
two.
place.
What do you
for a
mean we
horse.
don't have a place for a horse? We got a freaking corral right out
Dude.
there, dude. You got 2 acres, buddy.
Yeah, 2 acres of dirt bike track.
We could still put a horse on there. We could put a pen in the front yard. We still got a whole front grass yard.
I'm okay with the chickens and the goats and the sheep for now.
A little more ranch style.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to do cowboy shit. That stuff's
Ethan's
fun.
big into the cowboy shit.
I'm a jack of all trades when it comes to stuff like that, though. I like cowboy shit, but I also like, you know, partying and whatnot.
Still a little bit of cowboy. No, whiskey and whatnot.
A little bit cowboy, yeah. What about you? What are you looking forward to in life?
I don't know. Honestly, the future of what hasn't happened yet. You know, I'm at a space in life where I have a lot that can happen, and you know, honestly, I'm looking forward to relationships that I can foster and build. I think that's, for me, the most valuable thing in life is the relationships I have and I build. And so I honestly am looking forward to just building relationships with people I haven't met yet. and, you know, finding those friends that are lifelong friends and the 3 a.m. friends and just meeting those people and keeping them around and having a good time with them.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, there's nothing better than having those guys around you, for sure.
Ethan's good with the friendships. He's got a lot of friends. People love you, Ethan.
Yeah.
You have so many friends, dude.
I know. Tell me more.
You're definitely good at making people laugh, that's for sure. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but
I don't got any jokes.
why don't you tell us a joke, huh?
I don't have any. So
Well, you come up with something, I'm sure.
yeah, I'll think on it. You guys keep this thing going. I'll think of a joke and I'll get back to you guys.
Dope.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
I like it.
Dude, I'm stoked that you're down to do this with us, Ethan. Let us freaking
Yeah.
test this out. Let us
Be your guys' guinea pig.
get warmed up a little bit and figure it out.
How do you guys feel after this? You guys feeling good?
Feeling good. Definitely feel like I'm excited to watch it back and kind of see what needs to be done different. I feel like I could have engaged my co-host a little bit better. You know, I could have like mixed the conversation a little more.
I appreciate that, but I do think you guys do have a bond here, so it's a little bit more of a brotherly relationship.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
So you do know each other better and can kind of feed off the conversation a little bit more, but I do think I probably ought to learn to speak up a little bit more and ask the questions when I should. And
Bro, it's our first freaking pod.
hey, it's what we're learning, right?
I feel like it was a success. I'm happy that we have this recorded and have it documented, and we'll definitely have you on as a regular guest to kind of track the story and, you know, keep this in the archives for, you know, in the future. We can always go back and revisit the conversations and
Good deal.
be
Yeah, I'll always be
Exciting
happy
adventure.
to step in.
sweet, dude. Well, yeah, I'd say that's probably a wrap for the first pod. Thank you guys for listening. Can't believe you made it all the way this far. Probably just because of Ethan's quality jokes. But yeah, that's all we got for you today. So guess we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
See you next time.